Think July is the end of the road for gardeners, that all the excitement wrapped up with spring planting. Many gardeners believe that by midsummer, there's nothing left to do in the garden but water and wait for the harvest. But what if I told you that July is actually a fantastic time to start fresh and get a second or even a third harvest? In this video, we'll break down exactly which vegetables you can confidently plant in July, and I'll show you how to do it so you'll be harvesting fresh vegetables well into autumn, long after your neighbours have packed it in for the season. Traditionally, we're used to planning our gardens in the spring, when everything wakes up, planting potatoes, carrots, onions, cabbage, all those things that take a while to grow and need that initial burst of warmth. But summer is a long season. The soil is good and warm, the days are still plenty long, and with proper watering, there's enough moisture. These are ideal conditions for crops that grow quickly and aren't afraid of the summer heat. July is exactly when the door opens for this second wave of planting. It's a chance to correct any spring mistakes or simply extend the joy of harvesting fresh vegetables from your own garden. And here's our first star player, ready to take centre stage in your garden beds this summer. It's the radish, of course. Many think of it purely as a spring crop, but it thrives just as well in July. Its main superpower? Speed. Radishes are the true sprinters of the vegetable world. Just picture this. From the moment you sow a tiny seed to pulling out your first crunchy root, it takes just 3 to 4 weeks. That's incredibly fast. Planting radishes in July is the simplest way to get a harvest of fresh veggies by the end of August. You won't have to wait long at all. The soil in July is already nicely warmed up, which helps seeds sprout quickly and encourages vigorous growth. The main key to success for summer radishes is regular and sufficient watering. They really love moisture. If radishes don't get enough water, especially during hot spells, the roots can turn tough, bitter, or even bolt, start flowering, skipping the stage of forming that tasty little root you're after. So keep a close eye on soil moisture. For your July planting, choose fast-maturing varieties. There are plenty available now. You'll find round ones, elongated ones, red, pink, white, even purple radishes. All of them grow quickly. Radishes aren't picky about soil. As long as it's reasonably loose and well-draining, they'll be happy. You can sow them directly into the garden bed. They're perfect for interplanting. You can sow them between rows of slower-growing crops that haven't filled out the space yet. While those are getting established, the radishes will have already matured, been harvested, and cleared the way. Fresh, juicy radishes straight from the garden are a wonderful addition to summer salads, or just a healthy snack. But radishes aren't the only veggies ready for a summer start. There are plenty more options for July planting too. Let's move on to the next group of vegetables that aren't afraid of a July start. And here we've got some interesting candidates hidden away. Let's talk about legumes, specifically bush beans. Unlike pole beans, which grow tall and need support, bush beans are more compact and mature faster. Bush beans typically mature in about 50 to 60 days from seeding. This means that if you plant them in mid-July, you'll have plenty of time to harvest tender pods before the first frost hits. Beans love warmth, and the soil in July is perfect for them. They don't take up much space in the garden bed, making them a great choice for smaller gardens or as a filler crop between other plants. Fresh bean pods make a wonderful side dish or an ingredient for soups or salads. And best of all, it's your own homegrown harvest. But wait, there's more. What about carrots and beets? Can you plant those in July? Many people might be surprised, but yes, you absolutely can. You just need to choose the right varieties. For a July planting, only early maturing varieties of carrots and beets will work. Look for information on the seed packet about the maturity time. It should be as short as possible. These varieties will have enough time to form roots before the end of the season. Granted, they might not grow as large as those planted in spring, but they'll be young, tender, and delicious. This is especially great news for anyone who loves young beets with their greens, or tender baby carrots for salads. July planting is exactly how you get this kind of harvest. Beets, by the way, are quite resistant to light autumn frosts, so they have a bit more time to grow. Another interesting vegetable worth considering for a July planting is kohlrabi. It's a type of cabbage, but instead of a head, you eat the swollen stem that grows above the ground, kind of like a turnip. Kohlrabi grows quite fast and isn't as fussy as its head-forming cousins. It manages to form a juicy and crunchy stem bulb in a relatively short time. You can eat kohlrabi fresh in salads or use it in soups and stews. It's an interesting vegetable that will add something new to your autumn meals. See, July doesn't mean your gardening is over at all. On the contrary, it's a great time to give your garden beds a second wind. But there's one more popular vegetable that might surprise you by being on this list of July plantings. And now we come to the most debated, yet so tempting item on our July list. Can you actually plant cucumbers in July? You might think cucumbers are purely a summer thing, needing lots of warmth. And yes, planting cucumbers in midsummer is a slight risk. But it's totally worth it if you love fresh cucumbers. For a July planting, you need to choose only fast-maturing, parthenocarpic, self-pollinating cucumber varieties. Look for those suited for open ground or greenhouses. The shorter the ripening time, the higher your chances. Search for varieties that produce their first fruits in just 35 to 45 days after sprouting. That's really fast. Why is this possible? In July, the soil and air are at their warmest, which speeds up plant growth and development. If you live in a region with a warm and long September, your harvest should definitely ripen in time. And if autumn arrives earlier in your area, you can plant cucumbers in a greenhouse, or plan to use a light cover, like row cover, in case of early cold snaps in late August or early September. The most important things for July cucumbers are warmth, sun, and of course generous watering. Cucumbers are thirsty in the heat. Don't let the soil dry out, otherwise the fruits will be bitter or won't set at all. Prepare your garden bed well, and mending it generously with compost, because cucumbers love rich soil. Sow seeds directly into the ground or start with small seedlings. Just imagine, in September, when most gardeners' cucumber season is already over, you can walk out to your garden bed and harvest your own fresh, crisp cucumbers. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it requires a little more attention and perhaps a bit of luck with the weather, but getting our harvest of fresh cucumbers in autumn is absolutely fantastic. This little experiment can bring incredibly delicious results. So, we've covered some great options for those who want to continue or start their gardening season in July. But for everything to work out, you need to know a few important secrets. But if it's that simple, why do many gardeners think July is already too late to plant anything? What's the main secret to successful summer planting? The answer is simple, yet surprising. It's not just about choosing fast-growing vegetables. The main factor is the conditions summer itself provides. By July, the soil is wonderfully warm, deep down. This means seeds sprout much faster, and plant roots develop more vigorously. Plus, the days are still long enough, giving plants plenty of energy to grow. These are completely different conditions compared to spring, when the soil is still cold. So the key point, the real secret, is choosing the right varieties. As I mentioned before, look for labels like quick maturing, early, or ultra early on seed packets. Check the number of days to harvest. For July planting, you need vegetables that can complete their entire life cycle in 40 to 70 days max. This depends on your region and when the first fall frosts typically arrive. These are the types that can produce a full harvest when planted in midsummer. The second equally important secret is water. Summer can be hot and dry. Regular, ample watering is your best friend for July planting. Don't let the soil dry out. Dry soil is the main enemy of fast growth and a good harvest for most summer crops. It's especially critical for radishes, lettuce, and spinach, which need consistent moisture to form tender leaves and roots without bitterness. The third point is soil preparation. Even though the soil is warm, it might be compacted after spring planting or feel dry. Before sowing, be sure to loosen the bed well and water it generously. Adding a bit of compost can give young plants a great start. And this is where the real magic happens. By planting these vegetables in July, you get fresh harvests when most of your neighbours' gardens are empty or only have long season crops left. You extend your gardening season, get a second wave of vitamins, and enjoy the taste of just picked vegetables right from your garden when others are buying them at the grocery store. That's the true midsummer magic. But why do some think July is too late for planting? The key to success at this time isn't just choosing the right crops, but also proper soil preparation and regular watering. Summer soil can get dry, so give your bed a good soak before you plant, and make sure it doesn't dry out once your seeds are in. Another key point is choosing the right varieties. Look for fast maturing, early, or check the days to maturity on seed packets. The fewer days it takes to mature, the better your odds for a successful July harvest. So, if you thought your gardening season was winding down, here's a pleasant surprise. July is a time for new opportunities to grow fresh vegetables. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end. I hope it's inspired you to get some new seeds in the ground. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future helpful videos. Now tell me in the comments below, what vegetables have you planted in July before? Or what are you planning to plant after watching this video? Share your experiences.